It's time to ignite your soul and unlock your full potential. Join us on Beneath the Helmet, the podcast exploring firefighters' health and wellness. Hosted by retired Fire Chief Arjuna George, our podcast is the perfect place to start your journey towards becoming the best version of yourself. So come on, let's join the conversation and find out what sets your soul on fire.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This is pretty exciting. We're episode number 18 of Beneath the Helmet Show. Just want to give a shout out to everyone who's shared, liked, subscribed to the podcast. You're really making a big difference. So I feel extremely blessed to be here, to be able to meet and connect with these special people and to share their story with the world. Today, I'm joined with an author, speaker, and fire service trainer, Nick Higgins. Nick Higgins is the district training officer for the Piscataway Fire Service in New Jersey. He's also the author of the 5-Tool Firefighter. Nick is also a new certified nutrition coach, martial arts practitioner, and former collegiate athlete. Nick is also the founder of the Firehouse Tribune, an online platform and podcast. Be sure to check that out. In this episode, Nick shares his views on self-leadership and the mindset behind great leadership. We talk about the tough parts of leadership, such as change management and self-discipline. He shares that by being uncomfortable will only help us grow as leaders. As Nick says, we need to listen more and talk less as leaders. So please enjoy this episode with Training Officer Nick Higgins as we explore what it means to be fit for duty and to build a mindset that will grow our leadership. Until next time, stay well. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are with Nick Higgins today. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thanks, Chief. I'm really happy to be here today. It's nice being on the other side of the mic for once.
It is, yes. I got the awesome opportunity to be interviewed by you a few months ago and on your podcast. And yeah, it was a real joy and a treat to share my story as well. So I appreciate it. Now it's my turn to get you to share your story.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
So let's kick everything off with a little intro to who Nick is and where you came from. What's your background and what brought you to where you are today in life and everything, all your experiences?
Sure. So I'm a firefighter in Piscataway, New Jersey. Currently in charge of training. I do a lot of training for our district and fire district number 2. I've been a firefighter since 2001. Came up the ranks a lot. I really enjoy just really being a firefighter. Outside of that, I'm a New Jersey level 2 fire instructor, advocate with the National Police Firefighters Foundation for the state of New Jersey, which I take great pride in, and I really enjoy spreading the message of the National Police Firefighters Foundation throughout New Jersey and wherever else I can spread that message to. About 7 years ago, I started the Firehouse Tribune. It's a website, it's a blog site, really until it started. Because I want to get my message out a little more than I was doing. I was teaching at the academy with a bunch of guys and teaching the curriculum, but I really wanted to do more than just teach. I want to put stuff in words. I want to make videos. I want to do other things. So I came up with the Firehouse Tribune website, which was a play on Derek Jeter's website, the Players Tribune. That's where I got the idea from.
You're a baseball fan. I know that.
Oh, absolutely. So, I've been doing that for a lot and was on podcasts talking about a lot of stuff. Spoke at a bunch of different conferences, Firehouse Expo, other ones around the country and the world. And over the last couple of years, during COVID, is where I got this idea I wanted to write a book. I didn't know what I wanted to write about, but I wanted to write about me, in a sense, and things that really meant a lot to me of how I kind of developed myself into a firefighter, how I grew as a firefighter. But it's not always about being a firefighter that helps you grow into a firefighter. Aspects of life and experiences that help you grow into who you are today. So that's where I came up with the 5-Tool Firefighter. Again, a play on a baseball term, 5-tool athlete, 5-tool player. So I thought about what are 5 attributes of being a well-rounded firefighter? And I outlined that whole aspect of how I came up with that in the book. But I got the 5 tools in my head and I wrote them down. And I called a buddy when I wrote them down. He told me, yeah, I agree. I think those are pretty good. And I took a survey of 100 people anonymously. I sent it out on social media. And when I hit 100, I looked at the results. And sure enough, it was the same 5 attributes that I had in my mind. 100 people I've never met, I don't know who they are, came with the same 5. the goal of the book was not to rate the same 5. The goal of the rate was to rate my 5 and have the 6th one be what the people say. Didn't work out that way. So I had to tweak the book a little bit and realized that I guess my thinking was in line with 100 people I never met across the world. And here we are talking about 5 tools, but that's how I came up with it. And that's where I am today. I'm speaking at different conferences across the country, starting a podcast, 5-Tool Firefighter, on a whim. And it was on the recommendation of Jim Walls. So hey, start a podcast on how to get help promote the book. And it promoted the book, but it got people like you on the show and other people as well to come on and talk about their life experiences, because I think it's more than just talking about firematics. It's talking about life experiences, talking about different things that really paint the picture of a really well-rounded firefighter. And on top of that, with the Firehouse Tribune, with my lead contributor, Tom Marciano, we came up with Station Talk, which is just a roundtable discussion. We bring people on once a month. And again, we're talking. It's like a podcast, but it's more of just talking about the fire service on whatever the guest wants to talk. Open-ended conversation, just like you do in the firehouse. So that's where we are today. That's where I am today.
Awesome. You've done quite a bit since 2001. You've done quite the accomplishments for yourself. So
yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
As a new author, what was your biggest milestone or reward back for writing that book for you? Personal reward.
Personal reward was actually getting the book out. Actually put it out. The date the book was published was actually the birthday of my grandmother's second oldest sister. And I put it purposely that way. The number, she was born on November 22nd, I think it's 1908. And me and her were very close, but the number 22 was also my baseball number. So it had a lot of different reasons on why that 22 was the number I used on why that date was. So that was my most personal reason on the success of the book.
Yeah, my favorite number is 23, and the amount of things that have landed on 23 in the last 5 years, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
All by accident, yeah. Are you still playing baseball or not?
Not anymore, no. I want to get into a couple leagues, but just time and everything has had kind of restricted me.
I think today's episode, we're really going to narrow in on 2 key things. So self-leadership and your mindset, your growth mindset, your mindset in general. So how would you describe self-leadership compared to leadership? What's the difference there?
Well, self-leadership is it's to help lead your life. It starts from within you. When I talk about self-leadership, I always talk about it's something that you can't do every now and then. It's something that has to be done every single day in everything you do. If you can't lead yourself, and the quote I end that chapter book with, and I've learned this many years before I even came up with this 5-Tool Firefighter, was the leader of one could one day lead many, but if you cannot lead one, you can never lead any. And the one is yourself. You can't lead yourself to get up and do what you need to do each and every day to accomplish your goals. How can you be out there leading others to accomplish their goals? And hell, if you're a company officer, how could you lead them into burning building? How could you lead them on a medical call if you can't practice what you preach each and every day? And that's what I believe self-leadership is, being able to lead yourself in the right manner to accomplish the goals you want to set out to accomplish for yourself. And then therefore, as you accomplish those and become really comfortable with leading yourself, you can therefore start beginning to lead others. It's a continual practice and a continual thing that doesn't happen overnight, but with discipline, that's where it really comes into play, really takes its shape. And that's where I believe self-leadership is really important. But discipline, self-discipline, most importantly, is where you start. It's where that comes from within you. And we always heard the term from Jumper Willie, discipline equals freedom. It makes wholehearted sense when you think about it. If you don't have discipline to get up every day, to do your job the right way, and doing your job the right way isn't when you're in a group with everybody. You're with your crew, you're with your friends, wherever you're doing your training, but you're doing it behind closed doors. You're doing it when nobody's watching, because that's really where true leadership and true discipline really come into play. When nobody is watching what you're doing and you're hitting those goals. You're hitting those milestones. You're accepting failure, but you have to be able to accept failure in order to grow.
So for those who maybe struggle with discipline, any nuggets to share with how to maybe find some habits to build that discipline? Because discipline is an easy thing to say, the hard thing to do.
Make a list, write it down, having to start the day before. What I do is for a lot of my trainings, a lot of my workouts, actually, I always revert back to my physical fitness. I have a book that has my workouts for the month. And what I do is I have it written down what I want to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if there's anything, depending on what I'm doing. So I always say, write down what you want to have done the day before. And if it's already written down, it's already pre-planned, it's on Tuesday, or actually today's Friday. And today I'm going to do a back work. But I'm going to look at that back work the day before. And I'm going to start looking at what I hit, weight I hit, how many reps I did, how many sets I did the day before to prepare myself. Because it's all about preparation. Preparation prior to what you're going to execute is key. So in order to have discipline, you have to prepare yourself before you start. You can't just say, I'm just going to go. And we see that a lot with the New Year's resolutions. New year, new me. I'm just going to get on this workout thing. I'm going to buy all these supplements. I'm going to join a gym. I'm going to post it all over social media, tell everybody I'm doing it. And within 2 to 3 weeks, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yep.
But if you write it down and not type, literally hand writing stuff down, hand write it, you have a better way of remembering these things and staying true to what you're doing. Your cognitive ability is recognized more with handwriting than when you type it. So I always believe if you want to have discipline, you have to start whatever your goal is for Sunday, send it out on Saturday. And not talk about it. Not go blabbing all your friends and your family. I want to do this. No. Keep it close to you and start small goals, small wins, and understand it's going to be hard. Understand it's not going to be easy. But use people to help you guide you through that process as you're growing in your self-discipline. That's my advice.
So, Nick, I'd like to ask you what you would think about when somebody says the customer always comes first, and we're talking about self-leadership. Customer always comes first. So how does that relate to taking care of yourself, your own self-leadership? Any thoughts there?
I think that you're the most important. They teach you as a firefighter when you first start. You're the most important person on that fire ground is you. Second least the people you on your crew. So if you're the customer, you have to look at yourself as the most important person and as the customer in certain aspects of being self-leadership. And you have to do the right things to take care of yourself and not always worry about what other people are thinking and who you're going to upset, offend, make happy. You have to worry about yourself most importantly, because if you're not 100% taking care of yourself and leading yourself and taking the steps to becoming a better firefighter, a better person, you're not doing any justice for yourself, for your family, and also for those you serve with, serve for. And at the end of the day, we all want to go home, right? So if we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not saying, I have to be the best person, best version of myself I can be, what am I really doing? What am I doing each day? I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting your time. I'm wasting everybody's time that's looking up to me to be out there to protect them and serve them.
So how does self-leadership and servant leadership, do they work hand in hand, or do they oppose each other, or how do you see that working together?
I think it's a little both. Self-leadership, you got to be selfish. You have to be a little selfish with self-leadership and take care of yourself and understand, hey, I'm important. My goals, my health, my mental health, that matters more than you matter, more than everybody else matters, because I first need to be there for them. But on the other side of it, you have to know where to draw that line and understand that I can't always put myself in front of everybody else. I have to know that there are times where I have to take a risk. There are times where I'm going to have to do things that aren't going to be 100% what I want to do, but I have to do in order to serve and be a servant leader to those out there. And a lot of times we all have our beliefs on what we should and should not do on the fire ground. We can and cannot do. But then there's also times where the streets are going to tell you what you need to do. And it might go against things that you have to do. You have to make those tough decisions and understand that we're out there to help others. And we have to make that call. Then it has another line. How far am I really going to risk my entire self for somebody else where I know my risk versus reward isn't high? There's a lot of different dichotomies that go into that. So it's like it does go hand in hand, and then it has a line where you gotta draw that line in the sand, and you have to know when you're making the self-leadership decision or the leadership of others' decision of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, the reason I bring that up is because I think that's a conflict a lot of people have is self-leadership is selfish. It's all about me and it's about ego and it's about taking care of number one above everyone else. And then the servant side is serving everyone else rather than yourself 100% of the time. So a bit of both, I think, is really what's needed to be a well-rounded leader, taking care of yourself so you can take care of others.
Yep. Absolutely.
What would be one tip you would like our listeners to hear about building your own self-leadership? What would be your number one kind of nugget to share?
You don't have to know it all. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know what's important, and you have to know how to utilize your resources in self-leadership and leadership, because no one is an expert on everything. The day you wrote the book, I know it all, the day you act like you know everything is the day it's time to go, because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting everybody else. Self-leadership and the servant leadership is gone. You're not doing anything, but just happy. You have to be able to understand what your resources are. You have to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the people you're working with to get to what you need to get done. And understanding that you're not an expert in everything and that you know how to work with others is a great way to be a self-leader and a leader.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expect the leader, especially if it's a title, to know everything. But I think more people actually respect people and leaders who will admit they don't know everything. So it's actually backwards. The stronger leaders are the ones who actually can say, I'm not sure, but I know so-and-so is an expert in this area.
You have to almost humble yourself a bit. I don't know this. And real quick, short story on that is there was one time I was on fire and one firefighter came up to me and he's like, you need to make a decision right here and now because we're standing here at this structure fire and you're not making a decision on going into this. It was a 3-story garden apartment. It was a fire on the 3rd floor, getting into the Comic-Con cloth. And I was literally went to command flat out said, sit tight right here. We're not sending any more manpower into this building, into the structure just yet. But when our firefighters came, you have to make this decision right now because you are a leader and you're an officer. And I flat out said to him, I don't have an answer for what to do right now because the only thing I was told was we're not sending anybody else in the structure and I'm not making a decision on that. I'm leaving it up to the incident commander to make the call right now on what needs to be done. I cannot go any further than that. I have to leave it up to his expertise. He made decisions. There's firefighters in there. Cannot go any further. Firefighter was yelling there. We're going to lose it. You need to go to him and you need to go and tell him what you're going to do. In that situation, I knew right away I could not do that because of the severity of the incident. I couldn't just tell commanding officer, I'm not following your order and I'm taking my crew inside. And my answer was, I just don't have an answer or doing except what I'm told to do. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we had to do.
Yep. And once again, you said the word humble. I think that comes down to it where we can admit that we're not perfect in everything. I think that's a strength versus a weakness.
Oh, yeah. We had it out before and so we took it inside. We took it outside and we calmed it down. We were calmed it down. We got at each other, but we calmed down and we understood that. Heat of the moment, things happen.
Yeah. So to build leadership, to build self-leadership, one of the main keys I would say to come into an optimal level would be a mindset.
Yes.
Mindset around so many different things. So how would you, let's start off with mindset. How would you define mindset? What does that mean to you? And what kind of mindset do you live by?
The mindset is what guides you. It guides you through your day, and it helps you make decisions. That's typical. You have to have the mindset that you have to be open. You have to be adapt. You have to be resilient, because when I think of mindset, I'm thinking about taking care of yourself and developing the mindset before anything happens. Don't go in with, I'm going to have the mindset of, I'm going to be aggressive today. I'm going to be laid back today. I need to have the mindset that I don't know what I'm walking into. I have to have that open mindset to take it in, to absorb my environment. Don't let the environment dictate me, but I dictate the environment. And I'm going to choose how I'm going to approach that thing when I get there, and how I'm going to approach the situation when I get there. I can't just go in and say, before I get there, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then I get there and I have to quickly shift my mindset to, oh crap, I just called for 1.75 inches to go to the third floor, but they're stretching a line, but they really need a 2.5. I didn't assess the situation properly. I didn't do anything to help the situation, but put me in a reactive approach instead of having a proactive approach of really talking firefighting, sizing up my structure. Yes, I'm listening to radio communications on the way there. I have a pre-plan in place. That only gets you so far. When you get there is where you're really going to see what really needs to be done, because you hear from dispatch all the time, they're saying heavy smoke, and what the hell does that mean when you're not there? We had a call the other day, fire was coming out the back of the house. When we got there, it was a giant fire, and it was just smoke coming out the window because they opened the window. But we're going in there, the mindset of there's heavy fire coming out the back of the house. We went full force. When we got there, we digressed. So having a different mindset, being able to adjust and adapt to what's going on and keep the mindset clear on what's going on each and every day.
So would you say your mindset changes from day to day, or is it a kind of a consistent mindset that you operate in?
I try to keep a consistent mindset. I try to keep a positive mindset. I try to keep an outlook where I have a positive outlook on each day. I'm going to expect that things are going to go wrong. Things are going to go right. And I want to be able to keep that mindset of expect the unexpected. Don't get comfortable. Don't get complacent, but don't get too aggressive. Don't get too unexpected. Oh, I'm just going to expect it. Everything's going to be all. Have a standard of what you want to do every day, and have goals set in place of what you want to accomplish for your mindset. And the one thing I always say is the mindset goes hand in hand with physical and mental well-being.
Can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, exercise. I love exercise. Exercise helps decrease anxiety, helps decrease depression, PTSD, stress. It helps with those types of responses in your brain. And you see a lot of people talk, I didn't get my workout in today. I woke up on the next day and I just didn't feel good. You see sometimes when people you wake up and you just feel sluggish. You feel tired. What's the first thing people go for? Coffee. But shift that mindset. Wake up sluggish. You wake up tired. What did you do the day before? What did you do the night before that brought you to that? Was it a long shift at the firehouse? Okay. Understandable. Was it you stayed up all night watching Netflix, scroll on your phone, looking at YouTube videos, just goofing off, drinking alcohol? Who knows? That's going to affect your mindset. But what can you do to help that mindset? Refresh your mind so you have more of a meaningful mindset go into your day. You want to reduce the brain fog. Ways to do that: exercise. Great way to do it. It helps clear the mind to get into a more ready state to make critical decisions. Cold therapy helps clear the mind, helps reduce stress. It's in your book. Helps do different things, helps your central nervous system relax. Clear. Again, all going back to helping the mindset to approach the day the more positive and more, I don't want to say relaxed and aggressive style, but I'm going to go with it. The same, it's going to be have a more relaxed, aggressive style where you're not attacking, you're not reactive in your approach to others or in your approach to situations. And that's how I feel having a mindset plays into it.
So I think people are probably familiar with the term of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, but maybe just a quick definition of both, and then a nugget to guide people through a fixed mindset to actually develop their own growth mindset.
Your fixed mindset, you're just stuck the way you are. My mind, you have this fixed mindset, how you operate. They always keep saying these things. You can't change. I've been doing this for 20 years. You're not going to change my mindset. I'm an old school, old dog type mentality. And we've been doing it this way for 25, 30 years. And that's how we're all like that in some way. We're all human. We all go back to our comfort zone. We all go back to what we're comfortable doing in dire situations. You're going to have a fixed mindset of, I'm going to operate. I'm in charge. I'm operating the way I want to operate right now because it worked consistently all these years. But we see things change in society. We see society change. We see technology change, generational gaps. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to be able to adapt to what is around you, your environment around you, and be able to accept the changes. And we know we don't like doing it. But in order to have a growth mindset, it goes back, and I'm actually going to open up in the book so I keep it going, is being adaptive. It's getting out of your comfort zone. Because we all tend, like I said, to go back to your comfort zone, to go back into what we know, fixed, ingrained mindset that we had. And I'm guilty of doing it a lot. Going back to what I know, comfortable I am. But you have to be able to get out of that comfort zone to exhibit that flexibility and assess the situation to approach it with new avenues to attack it. If you're always doing it the same way, are you really growing? Are you advancing? Are you helping those you're working with grow? You're constantly doing everything the same exact way. And you're getting slightly the same results and sometimes maybe less results. Get out of the comfort zone and understand that being uncomfortable is helping you grow. But what else you have to do is talk and start listening. Listen more, talk less. I learned that a long time ago, and I have a tough time sometimes listening. I like to talk.
Yep.
When I was actually teaching an engine company operation course, and I was sitting there with he was a new lieutenant. And he raised his hand. He said, my dad's a former chief of this department. I became a lieutenant. He said, the best thing you can do as a new officer is to sit back and listen. Sit back and observe what your crew is doing. You're going to learn more and be able to adapt to the culture and to the people when you're not constantly pointing your finger and giving orders. And we did some scenarios, and he said, do you mind if I play that role? Let's go ahead, do what you need to do in our scenarios to see if you want to do what your dad told you works. And listening more, talk less. He gained an understanding how to become a leader, how to become a better officer, and how to work with his crew. And I feel like I got out of that fixed mindset of this is what I was always told to do. And now I could do things with my own way. And now I got not the respect, but I got the ears of the firefighters I'm working with.
I love that. Yeah.
You want to ask questions. Like I said, we don't know it all, but having a fixed mindset, you think you have a lie, you have it all packed. Growth mindset, you have to learn what other people are doing, what your crew's doing, what your firefighters doing, what your commanding officers are doing. Learn and get to know each person, not as a colleague, but as a person, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And that's how you build a growth mindset, having openness and being adaptable to the things around you and the people around you.
So how would the flow state migrate into the mindset? Is that part of the mindset, or is that a separate thing, or what's your thoughts on there?
I think it's part of the mindset. You have to have a little bit of the flow state. I believe that there needs to be some type of flow state taking place with the mindset in order to have the ability to grow. Without it, you're still going back to the fixed mindset that you've had going into it. So you want to be able to grow more, got to go through the flow state of it and understand how it's gonna grow.
Yeah, going back to the growth mindset, I've definitely noticed through my career that the more senior you become in the fire service, the less you think you need to learn and study and read and take courses. And to me, that is a definition of a growth mindset, is when you're continually learning.
Yes.
A lifelong learner.
I believe that growth mindset in the flow state, again, goes back to, I checked my notes, I did write that down, goes back into self-leadership, goes back into discipline, which continual learning
Yeah.
is what brings you to being adaptable, to having that growth mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many leaders that I've seen over the years that once they become that captain or chief, all learning just ceases. I'm like,
Yes.
wow, how does that happen? That's not healthy as a leader. You should be learning till the day you die or the day you retire. One of the two.
They say learning, the older you get, the more you learn, it keeps your mind fresh, keeps your mind from going into that depressive state, in a sense, feeling young and feeling not getting into potentially Alzheimer's, dementia, and a decline in their mental health because they're doing things to keep their mind thinking, keeping their mind going. And that's really what it's, and that's why I say, the older you get, the more you should be reading, the more you should be doing things instead of getting into a stagnant state.
Yeah. And I don't think it's just for your mental health. I think it's also for your leadership skills.
Yes.
Leadership's, it has to develop, it has to grow, it has to change, adapt, like everything you said there. It has to continually improve. I don't think you should be stagnant as a leader. You talked a bit about adaptability. Anything you want to expand on there about being an adaptable leader and how that helps?
I think it helps. It helps a lot when it comes to others. It's gonna show different things. It's gonna show value, and that you are able to manage change around you. If you can't manage change around you, you can't show value to the people you work with. How do you grow? How do you grow as a leader? Because if you just constantly roll the punches, you're allowing yourself, you can't just keep growing. I'm going to go with the punch. Whatever happens, happens. By allowing yourself to adapt to changes, you're demonstrate the ability that you can utilize the resources around. You can utilize many different things because you're able to adapt. You're able to see strengths and weaknesses in many areas. Truck company. I know this truck company's strong points and other weak points. I know what I can use them for. I can use them with this engine company.
Yep.
What is displaying leadership skills? All goes back to leadership. Being adaptable goes back to leadership. If you're a stagnant leader, you're going to just keep doing the same thing over and over. And you're not going to adapt to your resources that are out there readily available for you because you don't know how to utilize them. That's how I think adaptability goes.
Would you consider adaptability a part or a portion of being resilient?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it definitely sounds like it would be part of that resilience model for yourself. Yeah.
Yep. I think the mindset, physical exercise helps build a resilient mind. Adaptability helps build a resilient mind, helps build a resilient person because you're able to move around. You have more flexibility in what you can and cannot do. And you, again, can continually grow in that growth model, in that flow state, because you're able to adapt to what's happening around you and the people around you.
So everything we've talked about so far, what do you think is the most challenging for most firefighters to master or to embrace?
Accepting change, accepting to be in depth. I really do.
Yes.
I do that. I think that's number one, but
Yeah.
discipline, I think, is hard for a lot of people. People, you have to have, I still have trouble with it. There's days I get up, I don't want to do this. But I remember, I used to watch this show on MTV, Making the Band, with P. Diddy, Sean Cole, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him.
Yep.
He said one line in there. Every day we wake up and we have to do things we don't want to do, but we have to do it. She says, I wake up every day, I don't want to do certain things, but in order to be successful, I have to do the things I don't want to do. And you have to be disciplined enough to get those done and do it with all your might, to best your capabilities. That's how you become successful. And that's how you become a leader. I truly believe that.
Yeah, your first statement about change, I would 100% agree. That is a challenge for not just the fire service, but the world in general.
Oh, yeah.
How do you approach change when you're trying to change something? So you are the leader introducing that change. What are some of the tactics or strategies that you use to improve the change process? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I actually been going through that. Going through a little bit in my firehouse with the being in charge of training. At one point, it was just officers, the respective stations take care of it. But I decided, no, we're just not going to have a real boost policy here. We're going to start doing things where we're going to have structure. There's going to be an outlook on why we need to do things. There's going to be more paperwork involved. You have to put things in writing. And a lot of them don't want to write things down. I don't want, I'm bringing this stuff I learned from working at an academy and also working as a consultant through a buddy of mine. And the first thing I did was I sent an email out actually, no, that's the second thing. The first thing I did was talk to the chiefs. He said, this is my outlook. This is what I want to do. Pointing me to this position. This is how I want to hang it. What are your thoughts? And that's what I did. I wrote down my expectations were. What are your expectations? Pretty much on the same page, but we had to iron out a few little differences here and there. I said, I'm going to hand this out to all the officers. Send it to them until this is what we have to do. It's going to be in writing. They didn't want things in writing. They always want to do that. Text me, call me, shit like that. I didn't want that. Write it down. And we're going to follow this. We don't have to follow to a T. Not at all. But we have to have structure. And in the beginning, and I'm still getting, I've been in for 6, 7 years. I still get some pushback. Some of these younger guys still pushing back. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But quickly call them up. We're going to talk. And we have to adapt. We have to adapt to the way things are going. There's reason for it. There's standards and policies out there that we have to adhere to. And we have to be able to adjust accordingly to that. So that's some struggles that I've had. I've always believed that outlining my expectations and having open-ended conversations and allowing that wiggle room, where it's not just me making all the decisions, but what are your thoughts? What do you want? What's important to your truck? What's important to your engine that we need to focus on to ensure we are hitting our benchmarks and we are becoming the best department we could possibly be?
Yeah. Word that comes into mind is communicate. Different ways, right? In person, asking questions, by writing, by standards. Yeah. Communication is the key to the change management. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. If you're not communicating, you're not going anywhere. You can complain all you want, but if you're not communicating, open communication, our chief has an open door policy. Call me, text me, come over to my house. I don't really care. You want to talk? Let's talk.
Like you talked about fit for duty, and I'm guessing the first thing that pops in my mind is physical fitness. Does fit for duty only pertain to physical fitness?
It pertains to me in the book. I didn't write a workout plan. I could have wrote a workout plan. I could have, personal trainer could have wrote, this is what you should do. But I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm not going to be able to see you when you write a book. I'm going to know your levels of fitness, your health. But fit for duty is taking care of yourself physically and mentally. It's certain physical activities that you can do can help you, will help you mentally and physically. So I talked about stretching. Stretching is a key component for longevity, to reduce injuries, to help with stress, to reduce anxiety, also to elongate the muscles and reduce recovery time. Great. That's part of being fit for duty. I talk about core strength. Why core strength is important? Because as firefighters, your core, actually as a human being, your core is the most essential part. If you don't have a strong core, the rest of your body falls apart. So I discuss a little bit of that. I also discuss why active recovery is important, why sleep isn't. Those are still fitness, fit for duty aspects people tend to forget about because you're not thinking sleep is part of your physical and mental well-being, part of a passive and active recovery lifestyle. And if you're not sleeping and understanding how to take care of your body and get good rest, all this other stuff, leadership, discipline, adaptability, change aging, servant leadership, you don't have it because you're not allowing your body, when you sleep, that is the best time for your body, mentally and physically, to recover from everything you've been through. The strain and stress in the body recovers the best when you get at least 7 to 8, 9 hours of sleep. And I track my sleep each and every day with Whoop strap.
Nice. Oh, awesome.
I've been doing it for years.
Nice.
And I check my sleep and I make sure I try to do the best I can to get the right sleep. Using breathing techniques is another way to help your physical fitness, your mental state. I use breath work to help me with different types of, and I have alerts on my phone, goes up different parts of the day to talk to me about what I need to do, what type of breathing technique I need to do to get through this part of the day. Help me go to sleep, help me wake up, help me calm down, help me recover. Because without all these little tools, you're just working out. You're just pushing your body to the limits. But if you don't know how to recover properly, your physical well-being, and when you recover your physical well-being, your mental well-being starts to help cover itself too. There were days where my body's just sore, my legs are sore, tired. And I just start doing some dynamic stretch and I get into some static stretching and I really get into some deep stretching. And I feel and energize my body. I feel myself just, okay, I'm clear again. That brain fog is gone. That mental clarity is there. It's taking care of yourself inside and out of what physical fitness for duty truly is.
Well, there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Whoop band, but first, sleep. Every interview I have, sleep is a topic that we talk about for sure. I'd love to hear any tips or strategies you have for getting that sleep when we have such a busy life or we're on shift, rotation work, night shifts. Even if you're a volunteer, you're waking up in the middle of the night and then have to go to work in the morning. How do we get that restorative sleep when we have such a crazy lifestyle?
You have to build a routine in some kind of way. You have to have some type of routine. I have an infant and 5-month old, and I have a 4 almost 5-year-old. Routine is important.
And sleep is non-existent.
Non-existent. But you have to build a routine. But then, if you're on shift, you have to find a way to, busy house might not be as easy. But if you're in a more slower house, you have to have a wind down time. You have to find a time that you're going to wind down. You're not going to sit up talking. You're not going to watch TV. You're going to have a set time. You're going to wind yourself down and get sleep. If you're sleeping, good sleep, and you go up in the middle of the night, right time, you're going to have a better response to answering that alarm than if you're up all night and you're not relaxing your body. But if you're not there and you're at home, you have to have that hard stance of saying, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'm going to sleep. And I'm going to get sleep. I'm going to do things to reduce the levels of my body cortisol, that dopamine hitting my body some way. So I'm going to put the phone down early. I'm going to get rid of all them blue lights. I'm going to start reading a book, and a real book. I'm not going to eat after a certain time. Because we all know if you eat after a certain time, you're messing up your circadian rhythm. So finding that routine of what time works best for you, and you could bring that into the firehouse and you can make that part of your sleep on shift. I actually just did a podcast with somebody talking about that, how she worked with Los Angeles County firefighters who said, bring your routine on shift. Don't shy away from routine, even though you're on a 24, 48. Try your best to keep that same routine, because if you keep that same routine, your body, your mind's going to remember it. When you go home, you can keep that same routine going. And every now and then you're going to divert. But as long as your mind knows, I have to go to sleep, I have to rest, I can't eat after a certain time, I shouldn't be drinking caffeine after a certain time, you're going to start seeing a change in your mindset, a change in your physicality, and your alertness, cognitive ability is going to start heightening.
Brings me to the word discipline once again.
Again, all goes back to leadership and discipline.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So the Muse, or not the Muse band, that's another
I love
band.
them, actually, by the way.
The Muse?
You know,
Yeah. We can talk about that a different time. But the Whoop band is something I've just recently heard about. And I just did a podcast with Andy Clark, and she's a heavy proponent of the Whoop band.
She is.
I use the Aura Ring, which is very similar but different. So maybe a little snapshot for the listeners of what the Whoop Band is and what you've gained as a firefighter benefits from.
So I'm actually opening mine up right now. I just missed my journal. So what the Whoop Band is, it tracks your heart rate variability. It tracks let me see what it tracks. There's all kinds of stuff it tracks. It's a health monitor in essence. Your respiratory rate, your blood oxygen, your resting heart rate, your skin temp. It's going to tell you all these things as you're sleeping, as you're going throughout the day. It's going to track your activity. After a certain amount of activity, if you're not connected into it, where you put on activity, it's going to tell you you're doing something that your body's not normally doing at this time of day. All of a sudden, you're doing something. So it's really a lifestyle that it's really picking up. It's tracking your whole bodies, tracks your sleep. It tells you your REM sleep, your light sleep, your deep sleep, every single night. How many hours you've been in that, how many minutes you've been in that, the percentage of your streaming to how much you've gotten sleep and how much it's going to equal to your recovery the next day. And I look at it as if I'm in the green recovery, I had a really good night's sleep. I recovered well. I'm primed for the next day's work. If I'm in the yellow, it's getting by. I can get by. I can get through my day. I probably have to deload on my workouts if I'm going to work out that day, or just do an active recovery, walking, swimming, bike, some stretching. If I'm in the red, I didn't get much rest. Body didn't recover. You're going to feel it. You're actually going to feel that effect on your body when you come back to sluggish days. Those are days you want to just relax. You don't want to do much. And it's going to tell you those things. What it's done for me, though, is it's really honed in on me as a person. I started using it over COVID because I saw someone on social media, and I started wearing it to track my workouts to see how hard I'm pushing myself, how high I'm getting my heart rate up, how I'm really going through my workouts. And I want to see how it affected my sleep. And when I started noticing the days where my sleep was high and it's telling me I slept well, I started realizing how much better of a day I had and how better I feel going to the day and being able to accomplish regular common tasks as opposed to days where I have a red percentage and I'm just like, I really don't want to do anything today. I have a really crappy attitude. And it really helped me figure out those red days, how to make them better and how to learn what my body's telling me is really what it's done.
Kind of be kind to yourself too when you're on the
Yeah.
red day. You're like, okay, I'm not going to push it. I'm going to be kind to myself. My body needs this rest time. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to do those big hit exercise. Yeah, it gives you it's body intelligence. How I look at it, right? It's information on yourself.
I actually had it on. We were doing our we do bailout training every year. So we do our refresher bailout training. And I had it on. And I looked at my phone hours later and it said, you had a strain of 17.5%. But it knew that I was doing something that was out of the ordinary.
Wow.
We were doing it for half a day. So it was from 8 to 12.
Wow.
So for half a day, it knew I was doing it. And I clicked and said, yes, I did. Knew the next day when I woke up. I was still learning the system at that point. Crap, I'm in the red. What does this mean? So I had to research it and learn what's it telling me. It's telling me you need to do things to take care of yourself. You need to relax today. You need to stretch. You need to drink more water. To take an ice bath, whatever. And that's really how it's got me into more self-care, self-wellness, and really being able to know when my prime days are as opposed to my recovery days or rest days.
Can you wear the Whoop Band under your turnout gear in a fire, or how's that work?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I get nervous with anything like that, even with phone. I get really scared. I haven't taken the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
But I know people that have.
Okay.
I just haven't taken that chance.
Yep.
I just don't want to. I don't know if it's extremely safe or not. It probably is.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that the Whoop or the Aura Ring is definitely a tool that firefighters should have.
Yeah.
And probably general people, but firefighters should have for their own body intelligence to track themselves for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Nick, as we wrap it up, what's one key message that you'd love to have our listeners hear today? Maybe summarizing, but maybe a new nugget in there that you want to share.
You get one chance at this. No one's going to care what your title is. No one's going to care what your rank is. No one's going to care about any of that stuff. What they're going to care about is how you treat others. That's what they're going to care about. How you treat yourself coincides with how you treat others. How you lead yourself is how you're going to lead others. Be cognizant of how you treat yourself Because in the end, I even wrote in the book, we only get one body to live in. Treat it kindly, treat it with care. Respect yourself. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And I paraphrase that whole thing. I couldn't remember exactly.
Respect yourself, respect others. I think that's key. That's a golden term right there. So how can people learn more about Nick and listen to your podcast and read your book and get a hold of that? And what's the best avenues?
Firehouse Tribune, you can go to both. I'm big on Instagram. I love Instagram best. So it's FH Tribune on Instagram. Same on Twitter at FH Tribune. LinkedIn is the Firehouse Tribune LLC. And Facebook is the Firehouse Tribune. You can message me on any of those. You can pick up the book, The 5-Tool Firefighter, or the Tactical book. That is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I always tell people the bbest place to get it is right on firehousetribune.com shop, because it comes directly from me. And you know what? You don't got to worry about all the algorithms, all that kind of stuff. Right out of my house, to be honest with you. Actually, the book's sitting next to me where I'm sitting right now. So that's where you can pick up the book.
And I imagine you'd sign it too.
And I sign those. I don't sign Amazon's because they don't let me. But it's all the same price. I don't charge any different price on Amazon or anything else. But that's where you can find me. You can email me at editor@thefirehousetribune.com. And if you're interested in coming on the 5-Tool Firefighter podcast, just message me. Tell me when to come on. If you want to come on Station Talk and just have a firefighter conversation with myself and Chief Tom Marciano, or just Tom Marciano, that's fine too. Just reach out. We're always happy to have people on and just have a sit back conversation and just, as they say, talk.
Yep.
So
I love your style, and I really appreciate the book that you put out that helps firefighters streamline what leadership is and to be the best firefighter. Leadership can be very overwhelming. It can be so many different avenues of what leadership is, and it can mean so many different things to different people. But when you break it down to 5 points, 5 tools, that really helps people organize that in their own mind of what leadership is and help them kind of hone that skill. So congrats on the book and the workbook.
Thank you.
And congrats on the podcast, the YouTube show. And yeah, it's great.
Same to you.
Thank you very much for your information and sharing with the audience today. And thanks for joining Nick Higgins. Stay well, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Beneath the Helmet. We hope that this podcast has provided you with valuable insights into the world of firefighters' health and wellness. Remember, caring for your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is crucial to achieving optimal performance. Join us next time on Beneath the Helmet for more inspiring conversations. Until then, stay well.